We left off yesterday where Yosef had dreams, and he shares the dreams with his brothers. Where Pasuk Ches, verse 8, he has dreams, and the dreams indicate the first dream he had dreamt, which is considered prophetic, which of course they didn't accept that it was a prophecy, that they're all in a field and that each one is tying sheaves. And Yosef also has a sheaf, and all their sheaves encircle his sheaf, and they bow to his sheaf, and his sheaf stands erectly. So what is the connotation of the dream? The connotation is that they're going to be subservient to him. He's going to be the king, and they're going to bow to him, so that's subservience. And this is the whole issue of this agreement between them. And he's the favorite of his father. He's tale-bearing to the father that they're not behaving properly. And they believe that the reason why they're falling out of favor of the father, what they believed was because of the tale-bearing. Because he wants to be the dominant son, he should rule, and they should be the subjects. Vayomru lo echov, verse 8. The brother said to him, Hamoloch timloch aleinu, imoshel timshel banu. Are you going to reign over us? Are you going to dominate us? Because that was the message. That was the connotation of the dream. They want, this increased the level of hate they had for him due to the dreams and due to his words, meaning because he continued tale-bearing. Okay? Now, the two terminologies used here, if you notice. Moloch timloch, melech is a king in Hebrew. Melech is a king. Moshel is a ruler. What is the difference between a king and a ruler? Right? What's the difference? They both rule. But yet one is referred to as a king, the other one is referred to as a ruler. So what do you say? What's the difference between a king and a ruler?
A ruler exerts tyrannical force. A king lets his subjects reflect his image of nobility.
Good. Terrific. Terrific. So the Vilna Gaon says exactly what you're saying. Joshua, I don't want to embarrass you. Your friends should embarrass you here. So the Vilna Gaon explains that a king has subjects, and the king has an interest in really doing good for his subjects. It's not for himself, because the king understands his power lies in his subjects. So the better he treats his subjects, and the more dedicated they are to him, he's a greater king. The ruler is a despot. He rules, and he does whatever he has. His interest is purely in himself, and the people only exist purely to advance himself. So therefore, as you say, there's tremendous amount of tyranny there, and there's persecution. So that's what they said to Yosef. The dream indicated you're going to bow. You're all going to bow to me. So they said, are you going to be the melech? Are you going to be our king? Hamoshel timshel. In Hebrew, the word moshel is a ruler. Moshel. Are you moshel timshel banu? We find the psukim, we pray every day, we cite verses, we say, Malchuscha malchus kol olamim, umemshaltcha b'chol davador. We say that God's kingship permeates all the worlds, and his rulership is in every generation. His generation. So the two terminologies, referring to Hashem, to God himself. Malchuscha malchus kol olamim. God is the king in all the worlds, and his memshala, his rulership, is from in every generation. So how do we understand it? You know, if God forbid a person experiences tragedy in life, a person experiences good fortune, you have to say a blessing. What blessing do you say? As we mentioned, Shechianu. You thank God that you came to this moment to experience something special. You know, you get a call, you just won the $100 million lottery. Say Shechianu. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay? You know, persons I've been preparing all my life this blessing to get that phone call. It just never happened. Okay? But that's the bracha of Shechianu. God forbid a tragedy happens, somebody in the family dies, whatever it is, the person also says a bracha, a blessing. Dayanem is God is the true judge. He's the true judge. It was God's judgment. That's where the person was taken. Why? Because the Mishnah tells us that just as we acknowledge God for the good, we acknowledge God for the bad. But what is the blessing? Dayan emes. What is the meaning of dayan emes? Dayan emes is, although we don't understand why God rendered that judgment, but in its essence, it's in our best interest, that judgment. He's the true judge. For instance, the way it's explained is this way. A person, God forbid, has a cancerous tumor, and unless they excise it, he's going to die. And it's a field hospital, they have no anesthesia. And they have to excise it without any anesthesia. And they have to have people hold them down, and the person, and one of the people holding the person down is the father of the person. And the doctor says you have to hold him down. And somebody, an outsider, is watching this scenario. The father holding down his own son, and this person cutting living flesh. He said, they've never seen such cruelty in their life. But if you understand what's happening, that if this wouldn't be excised, he's going to die within a very short period of time. This is the ultimate act of kindness. Although at the moment it's pain, but this pain, at this moment, the procedure, this is the ultimate kindness, giving the person life. We see things in life, we have no understanding. It seems to be cruelty on God's part. Oh, that's what it seems, because we don't understand the background information. But in its essence, if you would understand, this is what? This is good fortune, in the ultimate sense. But since we don't understand, we say dayan emes. We say God is the true judge, because we don't understand. Something we could experience in a joyous way, good fortune. We thank God we've come to this moment to enjoy the moment. But we don't understand, so conceptually we understand it's for the best. But to say we thank God we've lived for this moment, since emotionally we can't experience it at that level, we don't say the blessing of Shechianu. Okay, this is the way it's explained. Malchuscha malchus kol olamim. God in all the spiritual worlds, He's the king. In all the worlds, in His essence, He's the king. Because then there they understand. In this world, but He's a ruler in every generation. What we see throughout all the generations, there are upheavals, there's suffering, there's endless things it's mind-boggling. So how do we see it? He's a ruler. He's not the king. It seems to be he's a tyrant, chas v'sholom, God forbid. God brings suffering on the world to such a degree. Why? What is that? That's a ruler. It's not a king. In His essence, in all the worlds, He's king. Because in the spiritual worlds, they have clarity, they see truth, they understand the inner workings of existence. But on the terrestrial level, where we have such limitation, how do we see Hashem? Mem shaltecha b'chol davar dor. Since malchuscha malchus kol olamim. He's the melech in all the worlds. Melech is the king and the subjects. But mem shaltecha, but the moshel, that's in every generation, because we see it through occluded eyes. We don't see it as we should see it. Therefore, we see it as a moshel, not as a melech. Because what they said to Yosef was, "Moloch timlo choleinu, hamoshel timshol." There's a double, the two appellations used there: king and ruler. Okay, let's see the moral.